Welcome to our mastermind call with the Renegades team, where we'll share the secrets to real estate success. Let's jump right in and turn your real estate dreams into a reality.
All right. Well, now people are jumping on. I see lots of people. Hi, Sharon. Hi. Hi, Kristen. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's
Hello.
get started and people will jump on. So I'm Chrissy Young and Ben Lang is smiling and waving to you because that's what I'm telling him to do. Smile, wave, smile. Uh, welcome, welcome. I know some of you guys have been here before. Others maybe not so much. So just to give a brief, just this is a mastermind class that Ben and I am hosting. We're part of a Renegade team, which is a team with EXP. And we're going to spend the first half hour, 45 minutes just doing mastermind work. And then those who are interested to learn more about EXP and our team, we're going to have a time that we're going to talk about that right after. And we'd love for you to stay and answer any questions. But I know last week we talked a lot about niche marketing. And I know that got Ben and Isaiah thinking, and they were talking about working more with like listing domination. I don't know if you guys know this, but Ben's not going to brag about himself, but he is a listing domination agent. He's top. He's one of the best I know. I know, Julie, I mean, you agree with that. Like he's just got some incredible talent. And so, last week when we left off, people were saying they wanted to talk a little more about niche marketing, but Ben, what do you want to do? Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, last week, what were we talking about? Like, well, first of all, I just want to say, like, last week I got like a huge nugget. Someone that was on the call had mentioned the
Kelly Wickens.
like contest,
Yes.
and they shared all the information with us. So like we've started already implementing to pick a few neighborhoods for next year to run Christmas like competitions in, and I think it's an incredible way to brand um and just get engaged with the community. So like I pick up stuff. I've been in the business for 2 decades and I'm still picking stuff up in here, which is pretty cool. And another person that was on last week, was it Jaquai? That's
Yeah.
focused on like the like volunteering at assisted living, and so like we were talking about a niche market there and just the power of niche. Like when the market fell out in 2008, I picked short sales as my niche. And I like 2009 and 10 and 11, like they were the best years for me to date in real estate. While they were the worst for a lot of realtors, just because I picked a niche and I like really became that person in that niche. So I think that we just wanted to talk about the power of grabbing a niche, and um so we wanted to kind of go around. I know Julie, you've got a niche in like certain community. Do you have an
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
actually, do you have a
So,
niche in mind?
I mean, it happened a lot through referrals. And I always tell people it all started, eh, again, be active out in your communities, doing what you like to do, and it kind of started there. It really started with a friend from tennis. And, I was purposeful about it. It's not like, oh, I listed her house and then it turned into the snowball. I was very intentional about it in marketing that neighborhood around it. But, also, I kept going back to her, like, hey, nudge, nudge, like who else, talk to your bunco group, like who else might And, it's just kind of like staying in touch with kind of those influential people who have a lot of friends and have a lot of connections. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And so now, because of it, I've kind of selected luxury to be my niche. Where I live in Northville, it's not like we have dozens and hundreds of multi-million-dollar homes, but we do have some high-end neighborhoods, that being one of them. And so my luxury price point's like 800,000. And I love that. I'm just going to talk about EXP real quick because they've really launched a beautiful luxury brand. And not only the branding of it, but the fact that they can get you into Sotheby's and the, what is it, the Rob report and all the things that like a Christie's claims, you know, that you need that luxury for. We're doing everything and more. And so I'm tailoring my, and even if they're not that price point, I still love the branding. I love what we have available to us through the luxury division. So that's, you know, all things being equal, let's go for the high price point ones, right?
That's
You know,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, so your niche is luxury now, and that's
yeah,
where your primary focus is, and where
yep,
do you feel
sellers,
like
luxury
that
list.
like expanded your business, or how do you feel like once you kind of sunk into that niche, it helped your business?
Yeah, well, first of all, the higher price point helps, right? So if you're gonna close the deal, like it's, I mean, my average price point went from 3.25, and in a couple years last year, and of course prices are up. We all know that we're way up here, but my average price point for 2022 was 550,000. So that helped. But as well, just being able, you know, I think the higher people in the higher end homes look for that. They look for that certain sort of look, and that's what I like to use on social media. And again, with all of my listing presentations, you know, there's a certain expectation. And even if it's meaningless, it's just that bougie brand look, right?
Your
So,
glasses too. Your glasses like contribute to the whole vibe.
oh, no, the glasses are because I'm blind. No,
No,
I
I like I like
farsighted, but
your
like I can't see clearly looking at this computer
like
screen
very
without readers. So I'm hesitating on any other corrective vision but readers, but yes, these are my Zoom
so
glasses.
I like them.
Got nothing to do with anything else. I don't usually wear them like if I'm out on an appointment or anything. Well, if I
So
have to fill out the paperwork, then I do, but no.
the last 2 years, I've been focused personally on like a cash offer investor niche. And that's because I genuinely I like working with investors. So I think in a niche, like it's important to pick something like me personally, I don't want to be involved in the luxury market. But if you look at me, like I got tattoos everywhere, and like I'm more I don't know, I don't feel like they're like luxury people for the most part, and I don't want to generalize, but they're just not really my people. Um, so I think it's important to know, like, if you're gonna pick niche, like pick people that you like working with.
Well, I think that's a good point. What you're saying there is, I think you absolutely could be in a luxury niche market, but I think we as people, we have like Jaquan, like you talked about her. She really feels passionately. She has a nursing degree. She helped with her parents, both of them, until they passed away. She feels passionate about that transitioning time period, and so that's where her connection is. Julie got into a niche market because she had friends in the market and they referred her. And why not? If you're in the luxury market and it's working, work it. You know what I mean? So there's different things like my niche, I'm all about community. I'm just focusing on my community. I'm not and being a connector. So my niche market isn't necessarily luxury or cash offer. I just know thousands of people and I love them. And I always think my brain has just always had this way of like, this person does this person does that. And it's always just categorizing it and I keep it in my head. And so this is a great way for me to use that is like, I have my community and I'm connecting people all the time. Oh, you need this, here's this, you need this, here's that. And that just naturally brings things and doing, like we talked about community events, right? Julie, that helps a lot too. So bringing my community together, connecting them. So my niche is connection and community. That's what my niche is. So, um,
Kristen, Kristen,
yeah.
you put waterfront. I'd like to hear how you're targeting waterfront. I mean, we have a lot of lakes around here. I love like the lake living vibe. I think it's cool. So what are you doing for waterfront?
Yeah, so I'm on Lake Orion, so I live here.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, and so
Started and you were
that's
talking about like
it's all referral. And it's
Okay.
crazy. Like I've been so slow this year, it's not even funny. And because I live here, so I'm kind of pigeonholed into the lake, and so many people were either, trying to sell themselves, or like a few people went with a discount broker, and it was just getting really frustrating. So right just in the last like 2 weeks, I have 3 pocket listings on the lake. And if they don't go, then we're going to list them in the spring. And of course, it's like I've been doing a lot of off market properties, and it's so much harder, but I'll take it, right?
Why
But
do they want to do it off market, Kristen? Why pocket listings? Why?
So I
why
have
not
one guy that's ex Secret Service and super private. He's like, I went in and took pictures the other day. He's like, don't take any of my family on the wall. Like, I want this like super low key. He's like, I hate people in my house. And now he does like private investigative work and things like that. He's kind of eccentric. So that's kind of one guy. And then I have 2 couples that are moving to Florida, and they're going down like kind of like right now, the first of the year. And they're like, just if you find anyone, sell it. And then if not, we're going to come back in the spring and list. So it's kind of random.
That's nice to have in your pipeline.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, how did you? So you started to develop that niche just because you live on the water?
And I grew up in Lake Orion, so I know a lot of people, right? So I'm kind of like Chrissy, and you just got to get out and start talking to people. Like go to dinner and go here, go there, and just my business is a ton of referral. And to market people in my niche, it's really hard because there's 1,000 homes on the lake, so it's really hard to kind of like do that all the time. So I'm kind of like trying to do more social media and just general, like maybe advertise in the community a little bit. Like random pizza menus and things like that here and there, just to kind of try. It's more community based. Not rocket science for me. I don't I don't have like a magic bullet.
Yeah,
Well-
so like, I'm just trying to think, like, are there like boating clubs or boat dealerships where you could even like go there and make friends with the sales? Like, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I'm just trying to think of ways that you could expand upon what you're doing for the niche.
Right. Like we have a boat club. It's private, and I know most of the people there. There's nowhere, like the marina's gone. So I don't know if you're familiar with Mosheri, but they're coming in and doing 3 big developments on the lake. So that's going to change things a lot. But yeah, there's one restaurant, it's I don't know, it's
What about like hosting events on the lake? I know Cheryl Mueller, who's also, in Commerce area, she does that. She'll do like her koozie cups and like, put money towards these, whatever you call them.
Oh my God, there's one like, well,
those
I love
crazy
that
things
idea,
you
but
lake people do on the lake. I'm not sure.
yeah, I think there's one like every few weeks is the problem. And I think people are starting to get like, oh, I got to go to this, but it's a great idea. So I'm do something
she does
like that.
koozie cups with their name on them. People still use it, right? Put their beers in them.
Yeah.
Keep them cold.
Maybe you could partner with the boat club and start an annual one big bash thing, and everybody could start coming to just that one and not feeling like they have to go to all of them, but do partnering with vendors in the area and have large prizes with the boat club, help them pitch in, and maybe brainstorm some theme.
Right.
Will at least get you to, I know you have a lot of homes on the lake, but maybe get you to know more of those people individually.
Mm-hmm.
Find some
Facebook
kind of
groups?
need in that area that is going to service those people, and maybe lean towards that some.
I like that.
There are some lake like Facebook groups.
Yeah. That you could be in, like engaged in or interactive in. I'm like building a list in the chat like of things that you could do to build out your niche. So I've got events, Facebook groups, mailers. What else to build out a niche? To
Always
market?
looking at all the things that all the boaters are needing throughout the year, people that are cleaning their homes, people that are cleaning their boats, people that are doing all those things and reaching out to those people and asking them to be sponsors of your event, putting them out as, doing some of your short clip videos. Hey, spring is coming up. Who do you need? I know people. Do you need this? Do you need this? Do you need this? Call me. I can connect you with so and so. Just a little videos to put yourself out there in the community as that go-to person that knows the lake.
Good idea.
Connection. Yeah, that community and that connection. My brain just goes nuts when you say, okay, everybody else is already doing these boat parties. Then I'm like, don't do a boat party, then do something different.
Right. Yeah, I got to come up with something.
And I just thought so we were talking about the big thing, aha, that all of us were like Googling over last year was, last week was that this girl talked about an agent that said, hey, let's ask these high-end homes that we're going to do a light decoration. She gave a theme and she did awards, and she got her affiliated partners to pay for these awards. And then she gave the theme like Winter Wonderland and some really cool stuff. One thought I just had for you is, what if you had them decorate their boats with lights at Christmas time and did a light parade with boats or something like that? I don't know if they can go out. I don't know how cold it is.
4th of July.
Yeah, you could do stuff with the 4th of July. So do something different. Like if everybody else is doing the same, we don't reinvent the wheel. We take it and we add our own brand or our own little niche to it, right? The little thing that makes it special. The other thing I've always had really good luck with, Kristen, is the one-to-one, really personal. So invite people over or have a thing like, okay, everybody's doing it. You do it on this big level. What if you went, quote unquote, door knocking and just said, hey, I'm doing, and you come up with something, an event, a barbecue. I just want to get to know more neighbors in my community because I live in this community and I'm having a barbecue. Come to my house, like come to this park, or whatever. And I'm providing everything. And the natural byproduct of that is you'll make those connections. And that kind of speaks to with what Julie did to build out her niche. She just took that personal connection, but like I'm a big believer in, like, when I see what other people are doing that's working, I'm like, how can I put my brand onto it? How can I put my touch to it? I don't have to be exactly like them, but we can see what's working and then make it personal,
You know what's a good idea, Kristen? I live right here in Oxford.
Okay.
You know how everybody opens their boats like we do our swimming pools? Just to kind of piggyback off of what the community does anyways, they're all going to be out there around Memorial Day untarping their boats. Be like, hey, why don't we have a little greet and meet boat opening party? Because you know how many families are on these lakes come May, right? We're all prepping our boats, getting the pontoons out. We all open our boats. So that might be something to kind of, we know you're going to do it anyways. Here's a popsicle. Bring the kids. And that baby is so cute. Where did it go? Steven, I want to rock and burp your baby too. I'm over here like, I want to start lactating again. I'm like, oh, she's so tiny. Oh,
so cute.
Oh.
Who else on the call has a niche that they're working and they're doing it extremely well?
I'm working on a niche, serving people who serve others. So I have a teacher background. I have a healthcare background. So I'm hitting teachers, healthcare workers, and veterans because all three of those have always been a big part of my life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How are you targeting them?
Well, first off, I went and found a lender that is especially helpful for them for that niche. And because I've been a teacher, I have a lot of teacher friends. Because I've been a healthcare worker, I have a lot of healthcare friends. So a lot of it is one-on-one conversations. And what I'm doing is in January, I'm buying out a whole movie theater and inviting all these people to come watch a movie as a community event and just trying to have more one-on-one conversations with people.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
He's also partnering. He's being super nice about it, but he's also partnering with his local lender, and he's offering, the lender and him have come together with some really cool benefits that they're offering to the public servant workers, like the teachers and stuff like that. Tell a little more about that, Steve.
Yeah, it's willing to pay up to $30,000 off their closing costs. So you could put that money towards either your down payment or, towards your purchase price of the home.
Wait, $30,000?
Up to $30,000, yes.
How does that work?
It's something that the lender offers. I've gone through him like 3 different times, and he does it, so
Oh,
I don't question it.
I think he has grants and different things that he's using
Oh,
because
grants,
they're public
okay,
servants.
got
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay,
So,
cool. That's a good idea too. So get with your lender. I mean, I think there's all kinds of like first responder grants out there, and if I'm not mistaken, that people aren't even aware of.
so
Yeah.
yeah, there's so much out there that you can do. I think partnering with a lender is a really good idea. Once you have your niche and you know what it is, how can you partner with a lender to, like, I'm partnering with my lender right now to do some in-person implementation classes, like how can you lever your affiliates, into your niche?
And now that I have my niche, I'm using it as my unique value proposition too. I'm like, look, I'm the only one that has a lender like this in the area right now. Because I had to go out of state to find this lender. He's not in Idaho, but he's licensed in Idaho, right?
Terry, do you work in that?
I kind of fell into new construction.
Okay.
And I'd like to add another. I helped this builder my second year in real estate. He was working full time as a CEO of a plant here, so he was kind of starting new construction on the side, and he didn't have time to, market it himself. So I helped with that. Helped him find the bricklayer, the concrete guy, all the things to get him started. And so when we started, he only built that one house. And here we are 5 years later, and we're on the verge. Probably next year, we'll be starting to look more on the larger side of doing his first small subdivision. So we've just kind of grown together. And in doing that, obviously that's the majority of my listings. So, last year we had probably 10 to 15 listings that were new construction. So I'm always marketing those, marketing the process. We've got this one started. This is where, the flooring's going in on this one. These are the cabinets we're thinking of using. Do you like this or this, on just different videos that I'm doing. So therefore that's kind of led into people asking me, hey, I was thinking about buying a house. Do you have any suggestions? Hey, yeah, I've got a builder for that. Oh, I thought you just sold the houses. I didn't know he could actually do the build. Oh, we can do the build. So it kind of just snowballed from there. So I guess new construction is what I've fallen into, but I would like to add another. I don't know what that is yet though.
And I think we have a couple of people in the new construction arena, because I know Amy Pace that's on here and Susan Weaver, I believe they both do new construction as well.
Any tips? I'm welcome to listen.
Yeah, love some tips as well.
Yeah. So I don't know, Susan, I'm going to call on you. Are you there still?
I am. I'm just driving. So, but yeah, I do have done new construction for a long time. Just keeping a list and marketing, time lapsing. If you can set up a camera and show the process that way, that's kind of fun. People like to see.
Oh, I like that.
And then specials all the time, holiday specials. If you've got inventory built up, it just depends on the market at the time. And open houses, if there's, if you've got a model, those are always good. And the giveaways. And I think, Terry, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and I've done this too, where you have like multiple open houses in one development, or several that are close to each other, and then maybe do like and we've done it like as a poker run. So you get a card when you go to the house, and then at the end you see who you win prizes at the end if you've got a hand or something like that.
Right. That always works well to try and get them into more homes.
Right, exactly. And if you're doing with multiple builders, or even one builder that has multiple homes, that's a good way to get them to go through all of them. And it shows well for your builder.
So let me ask a question. Let me ask you guys these two questions. So, Susan, are you only doing builders, or are you trying to, or can, because I know different builders, different things. Some builders say, hey, you work exclusively for me. And others, like it sounds like Terry, she can do both. She can spread out and do buy and sells and do whatever. And then she can also do just her builder. What is your situation, Susan?
I don't do an independent builder. I do multiple, or whoever, I mean, and smaller builders. So I think the larger builders are the one that wants to have in-house agents or even just hired staff, sales staff. I don't do that. I also do developing. So I'm always looking for dirt. I have several developers that are also builders. And so I'm always looking for opportunities, sending out letters to landowners, seeing if they're interested in selling their property. Yeah, so
Our challenge here is finding the land.
Well, and that, I mean, it's a long game. So you're just sending out letters continually to people, and you don't ever know when somebody's going to decide now is the time. And even just in our area, I mean, I could do a large port, out of Ada County, like in Cannon County, which is next to ours. Bigger properties, like I've got 55 acres under contract right now. Or if I were to do in Boise, there's not so many big parcels of land anymore, but you send out letters to like 2 to 5 acres, and you can get lists from your title company of people that have owned a property for X amount of time. And infill projects, I mean, you can put a lot of homes, or even if you did duplexes or fourplexes, it's still, and sending out the letters, I mean, it's kind of, it's a long game, and it's not going to be immediate, but you never know when you're going to get that phone call of somebody that, if you're continually dripping on them and sending them letters, you're not going to have phone numbers or email addresses, but you can have letters that just keep going out to them, and then they can see you in other places in the community as well. But there's always, once you get into that market, you're always going to have developers or people out. It's a whole different network of people. It's not buyers and sellers, or specifically builders. It's developers or investors, or multi-unit people that just strictly do that. So it's just expanding your circle of influence, really.
What I love that you said there is that it's the long game. I think finding a niche market, and Ben, maybe, and Julie, tell me what you guys think, but I think that's such a good point. Like, we do real estate and we can go moment to moment, but where I've found my groove is really understanding what my niche is, building my unique value proposition, like Steve said, and then feeling that comfort. And then, like you said, you're finding those things and you're putting your drip systems in place. You have your niche, you're doing your things that is for you, and you build that. And then the long game is business for a life, because I mean, who's going to compete against Susan Weaver in Boise? Do you know what I mean? It sounds like she owns that town, as far as knowing all of that and building those relationships. So that's the power of a niche brand. That was really awesome.
One of the other things, if you have a niche, you have your community outreach. So you have your referrals. And then if your Facebook is about your niche, your YouTube's about your niche, your business page is about your niche, guess what happens on your Google rankings just automatically?
Ooh, good point.
Yeah.
A really good point.
Because Google, they want, they want the stuff that has the most traffic up top. So if you have your Facebook talking about it and it's getting a lot of traffic, you have your YouTube talking about it's getting a lot of traffic, you have your business page talking about it, all those are going to be ranked on the first page. So the chances of somebody clicking on your page is going to be a lot higher.
So as we're bringing this all in, because we have about 10, 15 more minutes, here's my question. This all sounds great, and we're getting all these ideas, and the lights are starting to spark, right? And we're getting these ideas. My question is, what is blocking you? Do you guys feel like, yeah, this is all great, I love this, and you get excited, but what's blocking you from going forward? Ben, I'm asking you, I'm going to ask you direct out, what blocks you from moving forward with your niche and your ambition and what you want to do? And you're a doer, but I know you have blocks too. What do you think your blocks are?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a doer, but I'm all over the place also. Like, I'm very scattered. That's probably one of my biggest downfalls. Like I don't know, I'm a visionary and I've got lots of visions and lots of crazy visions. Luckily for me, I was able to just hire an implementer about 3 weeks ago to carry out all my crazy visions. But I think, like, from a more realistic standpoint, probably a block for a lot of people with a niche is the amount of time that it takes to really develop it. You really have to be invested in it, and it has to be the long game. It has to be the through game. It's not immediate gratification in a lot of cases. So I think that's probably going to be the biggest stumbling block for most people that are on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if everybody wants to be verbal, but drop in the chat if you agree with Ben, like if that is what's your stopper is too many ideas, you know.
I agree with that, Ben. I'm a big picture girl and I have a hard time, so many things in my head, and implementation is sometimes I get wandered off and forget what was I thinking about 5 minutes ago.
So I can relate to you.
So how can we be better about implementation? What are your guys' ideas? What are some of your secrets?
Prioritizing.
What? Prioritizing?
Prioritizing, yeah.
So how do you do that, Steve?
I just look at everything I want to implement and I figure out what things I need now and what things I could do later.
Yeah.
Like having all your follow-up systems in place is probably, priority one, and then, going from there.
I like it.
I know Isaiah has something to say about that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
sure.
waiting for him to jump in. I wasn't gonna call on him, but way to go,
I
Terry.
will call you out, Isaiah. I know you have something to say about that one.
You and I are getting to know each other. So one of the big things as a rainmaker, you have to ask yourself this question constantly: is what is the next move that I'm going to make that's going to drive the biggest results and make the most sales, period. And so you got to ask yourself that question constantly, because otherwise your priorities can get mixed up really fast. So for example, we all have things popping in our mind, but we have limited resources, right? And so if we're not asking ourselves that question, those resources get scattered all over the place really, really fast. And sometimes it's mental resources too, right? So, or it's time, money, and energy. So I ask myself this question constantly, and I train our team to ask themselves this question constantly. Out of all of these ideas that we have, what one is going to move the business forward faster, and what one is and then you prioritize that, helps you prioritize that way. For an example, and just give me a quick example. You could have an idea and it's not a bad idea. And we have this all the time. Like we have a list of ideas, but then if I spend too much time on a marketing flyer and I use that I use that time, money, and energy on a marketing flyer, and I don't do my follow-up calls. And I chose to do the marketing flyer instead of my follow-up calls as like a small, like micro example. That's not a good use of my time, right? It's not to say that the marketing flyer is not more important, or it's not that it's not important. Maybe the marketing flyer is important, but it should never replace my money generating activity. So that's how I always prioritize. And when new ideas come to the table, I rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 of impact. So I try to score everything before I do it. And so that's my 2 cents on it, is you just attach a score to the impact that it's going to have before you choose to do it. And then if it's a lower score than the other priority, just have that idea get in line.
I want to jump into so when you're building your business, and I think since the pandemic, there's a lack of community, and if I had to guess, a lot of us feel like we're doing this alone. Like I talk to Isaiah, I talk to Chrissy multiple times a week. You know, both of them will probably tell you, like, when they have a conversation with me, it's probably hard to follow me. I'm like all over. Yeah, you guys know. So like I'm jumping, but anyway, both of them like help reel me in. So what I'm saying is like the importance of being a part of a community and having an accountability partner, I think now in this down market since the pandemic, is more important than ever. And I found that, you know, through Renegades and my trusted inner circle, and having that accountability and someone to keep me on task and keep me on focus has been invaluable. It's priceless.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ben, because once again, because I'm a squirrel, you know, I'm all over the place and all the ideas, my problem is implementation and staying on task. And I find myself drifting when I'm not talking to y'all. Like I was talking, Chrissy and I, you know, probably as a week and a half ago, every single day, you know, we were talking, and in those conversations, it was helping reel me back in, talking about the things that were important and all the things that were showing up to all of our calls, showing up to our trainings throughout the week. And I would find myself having more of a steady process and being more dialed in. When I get busy, and I've noticed myself do it in the last 2 weeks, and I get out there on my own and I'm starting to be in no man's land again, and I'm not talking to y'all, you're not holding me accountable, I'm not holding myself accountable. Now I feel like everything's fuzzy, everything's all over the place again. And so I've even told myself, oh, I've got to call Chrissy this afternoon. Because having that sense of connection and community, because we are all independent agents, we all run our own business, and it's very easy to get out on an island by ourselves. So having that connection with y'all, you, Isaiah, Chrissy, Ben, Mustafa, all of y'all, definitely helps ground me and helps me focus on what's important.
Well, and I love, as you guys know, I love community. I love connection. I like the personal piece. Like I love meeting with you guys online, but I've started doing an implementation class in my community because I want that person-to-person connection with real estate agents as well. And that's been really powerful for me. And as I've been doing that, I'm learning, like, a lot of us don't even know where to start. You know, we're just trying to figure things out. Where do we start? How are you following up with leads? You're doing, I would say I've met so many amazing agents here that are just so gifted and talented with people, and their business is flowing. But Isaiah, wouldn't you agree? Like, you put systems, processes, and people in place, and their gift and talents magnify tenfold, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's incredible what it does. So yeah. And so I've just been, that's why I kind of brought up the question of, like, what's your biggest blocker? And then let's get past it. How do we take action and implement? And I love what you said, Isaiah, about, you know, what is the #1 money-making activity I can do? You've said that to me before, and I took that challenge, and I've figured it, I've dialed it down. Like, non-negotiable, I make my phone calls every single day. Like that's a non-negotiable. In fact, my lender jokes when he like tries to call me, he's like, "Are you on calls?" Because he knows even what time of day I make my calls, you know? I do a couple of the non-negotiables. And then like you said, I journal a lot to get my thoughts straight. And then I write, I have that key project list. So when I have an idea, sometimes they go like, I joke about how it's like peacock feathers just spread out like one idea and then go, ooh, all these other ideas. So we don't lose anything you've learned today. My thing is like put it in a journal or a key project list. And then like Isaiah says, is you get your systems down, then you add the next thing.
Yeah.
And for me, sometimes like implementing everything feels like a hill, like a big mountain, and it's a mountain that you're never gonna get climbed up. And so sometimes I'll prioritize a couple small things just so I feel accomplished. So I'll keep climbing that hill.
I love that. What were you gonna say, Isaiah?
I was gonna say is I think we should challenge ourselves and ask ourselves where this need to feel like we have to implement everything all at once comes from. Like, why do we even feel that way? Like, where does that desire come from? Like, because and I think the answer is because we want to grow, right? We want to move forward. What's really interesting though is that's exactly what's stopping us from growing and moving forward.
Do you think maybe it's because you hit up against an uncomfortable wall and you don't want to be uncomfortable, so you change path to avoid the uncomfortableness?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Usually a behavioral pattern where usually a behavioral pattern where you know what you're supposed to be doing, but then you constantly find other things to do is usually because you've hit a wall of like uncomfort or fear or not wanting to do it. So because you've hit that wall, you just choose to do something else that might feel somewhat productive, but isn't going to get you the result that you want. So it's a really good call out, Holly. And it's a behavioral pattern that you got to catch yourself in, because if you get into the behavioral pattern of breaking promises to yourself too much, then it can become a really, really bad habit. You don't want to get in a habit of breaking promises to yourself.
No, I feel like it's losing perspective. Just a little back history. A year ago, I started wholesaling. My husband and I, we were like, hey, let's give this a go. Got my feet a little wet, realized I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I needed more knowledge. Contracts, docs are like insane. So I was like, well, I better become a real estate agent so I can understand what's going on. Went in, studied like a bull, man, took a 5-week course, scheduled my test, passed the first time, August 30th, here I am. Jumped on this team. It's amazing. Every single person I've met on the Lang Estates team is just like propelled my career forward. And I felt like, all right, I got that knowledge I needed. So I went back to my perspective, back to my goals of, all right, I want to be this amazing investor, wholesaler, real estate agent. I got where I wanted to go. So then I went back to my old business that I was doing before Ben, started looking up some old clients and stuff. Boom, 2 listing appointments coming Saturday. Like,
that's great. Congratulations.
Awesome. Way to go.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just been like my balls rolling forward, but my mind frame is my end goal, besides being the best real estate agent, sorry guys, is to retire my husband from corporate America. And I will not stop, and my perspective will not change. And I will keep every call I make, every email I send I look at the end of my day, am I helping my family towards where I want to go? And I won't, and there's no derailment. There is no like, oh, any other idea that comes to my head that I think I might want to entertain. I'm like, is it going to retire my husband? No.
Yeah.
Gone.
That's
It needs to be on the powertrain, and we're full steam ahead, folks,
That's so powerful. Yeah.
So, and it takes a lot of discipline, I get up same time every day. I do the same thing. I got my schedule down. My health is blah, blah, blah. Like and every single move I make is because we're going to retire, and we're not going to be fat and like retire from life. We're going to be in shape, kids are rocking, school's going, degrees are coming. Money, I don't even want to think about you. There's gonna be so much of it there. It's just not, I don't even want to think about you. I want to think about the rest of our lives, and how we got to get there. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Money-
Very powerful principle to live by.
Money is just a vehicle for like the life that you want to live.
It's
So,
a tool. It is a
lot of
tool.
people are focused on dollar amounts, but it's really just about the life that you want to live.
You've targeted your big why.
Yeah. I ain't stopping, girl. I am 46 years old. I have 4 kids. My youngest is in kindergarten. They're all boys. I ain't stopping. We're going, what is that age? 52, 55. My husband's going to be retired by then. That way we can, retired from corporate America. And then we're just going to take over the world. We're Pinky in the brain.
Well, the thing is when you're not doing as good as you want, you're always trying to find shiny things. So it sounds like she has a really good way of, hey, it's not going as good as I want. And she sees something new, and then a lot of people will jump and try it, and they won't work more at what they know already works.
See, I don't think that it's not going as good as I want. I think, how can I make this better? I don't go to the negative. It's always, how can you make this, how can you do better? This situation, if it's my last situation in life, I'm gonna grab every resource I can and work it, baby.
But it sounds like you have a thought process where like something new comes up, you don't just automatically jump to the next shiny thing that could or could not propel your business. You take a thoughtful approach about it, make sure that it's something you actually want to do that could help your family before you just jump on the train.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah. Good call out on that. Yeah, I listened to a podcast last night. Do you guys know who Charlie Munger is? And Warren Buffett. So Charlie Munger just passed away at 99 years old. And multi-billionaire. And one of the powerful things that I heard that him talk about and that where they were talking about in the podcast, he says the greatest entrepreneurs and business owners become great because they do the basics so well. So we think that it's something other than that, but they do the things that are important extremely well, and they don't move off of them. And I thought it was so powerful. And they have a set of principles they just build and live by. And it was just awesome hearing that coming from a 99-year-old man that said that, like, literally, like, had been following a set of 5 principles in his business, his whole life, and to see what he had built and the amount of millions of people that he's been able to impact along the way. And so I just think that's a really powerful message for us, is that if we want to be great entrepreneurs, we have to just remember it's about doing the basic things extremely well over extended periods of time. And I think that we wish there was a more complex answer, but there's really, really not. It's the basics and doing them extremely well over and over and over again.
That's really powerful. And then that goes back to what you said about figuring out your number one money-making activity. And then just do it really well and consistently.
Yeah.
And your non-negotiables, Chrissy.
Yeah. The
I'm doing these
non-negotiable.
things, and then I'll see if I have time for these other things. Or see where I have time for these other things.
Yeah. I love that.
You guys read Atomic Principles? Have you guys read that?
Yeah,
That's a good book.
What's always, it sticks in my head every day, because now it's 2024 goal setting, right? What are your goals? Everybody write them down, right? But the quote in there is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And like, you know, the best goals in the world and a big why like Holly has, but without the day-to-day, not only the do, but the systems too, like not just the daily activities, but the full system that just keeps on, transaction coordinator, VAs, whatever it is to continue to grow. that's where it's at, you know? I mean, you have to have goals for sure, but a goal is nothing else, nothing without the systems to do it. Compound effect, yes.
Love it.
One, yeah, yeah.
I was when you were saying that, Isaiah, I was thinking of the Compound Effect. Like that's one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Slight Edge, that's the other one, and there's so many. This is my assistant.
So that's awesome. Well, we have 8 minutes left, and I know we promised we would talk a little bit about Renegade. So those of you who want to hear more about our Renegade team and what it has to offer and how it all works, I'm going to let Isaiah run with this and talk a little bit more. We'd love to keep you on the phone call and then just ask any questions you want. And go ahead, Isaiah.
Yeah, so the purpose of the Renegade group and movement is designed to attract a group of people that just don't want to settle for average. They're willing to step out and make things happen, but they also appreciate collaboration and community at the same time. And they want to leave their mark, so to speak. They're not going to just settle for the status quo. And that's kind of like the whole, they don't make excuses, right? And that's kind of the whole foundation of it, our mantra, if you will. And so what we've made a decision is to join up underneath those principles, and we felt like EXP was the best vehicle to help us carry this movement out together. And so if you are a person that is ambitious, you're open-minded, and you value growth, then I would strongly recommend you take a look at, the Renegade group. The benefits are endless. I could sit here for probably an hour to go through all the benefits, but on a high level, if you want to master lead generation, lead follow-up, and lead conversion, and agent attraction, and you want to master the core pillars of success, then consider setting up an appointment. We'd be happy to have a one-on-one private consultation with you. And we'll show you the benefits in the blueprint that we've laid out to help master those fundamentals. And those are kind of like the key principles to unlocking success in your business. And then we have advanced things too, but those are the keys: is getting your database right, lead generation, lead follow, lead conversion, agent attraction. So there's a lot within those pillars, but those are the key pillars, right? So with that, if you want to set up an appointment, you just go to actually, I don't know if somebody can drop the link in. It's the Renegade.
I just dropped it. I dropped the website and the link. So yeah. Yeah.
Zero pressure. Worst case scenario, you'll walk away with a 90-day game plan on how you can, we help you dissect basically your next 90 days and what your next move should be based on where you're at in your business. And you get to tap into the knowledge base of, a couple people that have attracted, collectively over 400 agents throughout their career, and also had built really, really awesome real estate businesses. So it's worth a one-on-one conversation. If you're not already part of EXP, feel free to drop the link in, and we'd be happy to set up a 15-20 minute consultation and help you with your 90-day game plan as a worst case scenario.
And that meeting's directly with you, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Me and me and also Lee will be there. Yep.
Yeah. So, and I'm just gonna put a little side note in there, like, because Isaiah is super humble, so he doesn't like brag on himself so much, but he's really, really good and has been my personal coach. So I actually came to the Renegade team, and the way it happened was he has a marketing company, he has a coaching company. I aligned really well with that. I started doing all of that and got to know them better. And then when I was ready for a brokerage change, I reached out to Isaiah and was just like, hey, you work with so many agents across the country. You probably know all these different brokerages. What do you recommend? And that's when we kind of had that conversation. And we can't go, again, we're not going to go hardcore into everything. I just would say, take the time to make a phone call. We're really low pressure. You know what's best for you. It's just call, find out more about the company. There's huge compensation opportunities. There's opportunities to build your team. and just everything I'm learning. It's what I love is Isaiah's way. It's just like, and this is what he said to me, Chrissy, I just create all these opportunities to help agents because that's what I'm passionate about. And then they just naturally fall where they need to fall. And that's exactly what happened. Like I was in coaching and I was in his other program, and then naturally I just wanted to join the team too. So there's just some massive opportunities. So no pressure, but I would totally recommend just having that time to talk and get that business plan set up for 90 days is huge too.
There's over $20,000 worth of benefits by being part of the program, which you'll find about.
I love the concept that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I love about this group is that although before I came to this group, you know, I feel like I'm really good at real estate, I'm really good at selling, but there's so many things whenever you get to the basics of breaking down how to set up your business from the floor up and how to lead generate and do all the things well. I was doing the things, but there's still so many things I'm not doing well. And my goodness, this group of people, I love the collaboration.
Well, and I love that this group has a literal check-off list for every little thing that you need to do. Like if you need organized check-off lists so you can get your little check-off high of like how to do stuff, we've got a list for everything. And I challenge you to find one that you don't have, because if we do, then Isaiah will make it in 5 minutes. He'll be like, oh, we don't have a list for that? Let's get one.
All you did was give Isaiah something fun to do. If you tell him there's a list that you need that he doesn't have, he's like, oh, game on.
Oh, good. Yep. Well, that's everything. We're at the top of the hour. Thank you so much. And then Ben, if you'll just close up at the last minute and kind of talk about what we're going to be talking about next week and how it's going to kind of move forward from here on our mastermind group.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing a 12-part series. I have an ebook that's just coming out. I'm just waiting for the final cover to get on the ebook. So next week I'll have the ebook for everyone that comes on. And we're gonna be going through 12 different segments for listing domination through the next 12 weeks. So I'm really excited to get that going.
With this market, I am going to be there, Ben.
I was gonna say,
you get on a call and I'm not there. One of y'all better pop out and call me and say, where are you?
I will. I'll call you.
We'll do that. I was just gonna say, the biggest thing is that listing domination. Ben is a listing dominator, and to have that ebook is gonna be huge, and to take action on it, it will be awesome. So, yep. All right, 100%. Everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for coming.
All right, good to see everybody.
Bye. See you next week.
Thank you.